What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? We're here, twitch.tv/LAWL, hanging out with chat. We are about to do something that normally makes me hurt my brain a little bit, but because there's some pretty awesome people in the community, it has been simplified. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's playoff scenario time. This is when people with giant brains and Excel sheets type out all the different scenarios of what needs to happen for teams to make the major. We've got North America Regional 3 going down on Friday, where I'll be casting for version 1. Come hang out with us in chat. We'd love to have you there. But we will be watching the matches with group stage and first lower round elimination. And then day 2, which is Saturday, is going to be like your top 6 potentials. And then top 4 is going to be on Sunday. And it's going to be pretty crazy. We've got a lot of different things that are happening. There is still 12 teams in the running. Energy is the only team in North America that has completely clinched a spot. They are trying to just clinch the #1 seed for North America, which does make a difference in your matchups when it comes to the actual major. So they're still playing for stuff, not only trying to, secure a high seed, but also these points matter when it comes down to the World Championship qualification. So there's a lot of things at line, but ultimately the things that you guys need to know is there is 12 teams that are going to be fighting to stay alive for a chance to go to the major. And it is possible. So we're going to go through each team based upon the most difficult. We're probably going to keep those for the last bit. We're going to go from the most simplistic team, what they need to do. So like G2, Faze, Space Station, and we'll work our way down through all 12 teams. And the scenarios are going to get crazier and crazier. The biggest thing that I need to do here, though, is shout outs to Drekt. If you guys do not know Drekt, he is the statistician and one of them for the Rocket League esports team. This is his spreadsheet. This is his information. North America has been solidified. We'll also do this for EU and the other regions as well. But for North America, these are solidified. These are on the money. Like, Drekt is an absolute legend. So I'm going to go through these 2 different ways. The first thing we're going to do is go over team specific. And then we'll also do like a summarization or a simplistic, this is the like, you do this and you're in kind of scenario. So we've got specifics by team and then overall scenarios and breaking that down. So with that said, let's go to the other screen and get into it. We've also got dark mode on so people's eyes aren't bleeding through this. And you can see them. Tabs at the bottom are showing who we're talking about. You've also got the team and the player up top. So first up, G2 Esports, if they get top 8 or better, they are in. That is it. If you guys don't know what top 8 is, that is eliminating themselves away from lower round 1. So if we look at the brackets, this is top 8 and on. This is top 12, top 8. So as long as they go make it out of groups and win their first match, they are fine. If they take first in their group, also guaranteed top 6, they are fine. They then have a bunch of different scenarios about, hey, if they don't do well, say they do get poo-pooed on, whether it be eliminated in lower round 1 or they don't even make it out of groups, there is still ways they can qualify. Okay, I'm not going to go into those specifics. It's a lot of different scenarios. If you guys would like to see those, go back in the timestamp and check it out. Okay, we're just going with the very, very strict ones. But the biggest thing is they need to finish top 8. They finish top 8, they're fine. They have enough points. Up next, we got Faze Clan. Faze Clan clinches the major with a finish of top 6. So if Faze Clan goes first in their group, they are good. So if they go 3-0, 2-1 in their group and they make it out as the first seed, they're guaranteed top 6. They are fine. If they don't do that and they end up going in as second or third in their group, that means they have to win at least 1 round and 1 or more of the things need to happen, because there is a chance that even with Faze being as far ahead as they are, if a bunch of these things happen, it will actually push them down so far down the list that they could get eliminated. It's pretty crazy. It's very unlikely that those things will happen. Up next is Space Station Gaming. If they also take first in their group being, so what, Complexity, Soniqs, Charlotte, Phoenix. I think I'm right on that. Complexity, no, I'm thinking G2. They're Complexity, Torrent, XSET. Complexity, Torrent, XSET. So if Space Station takes first in their group, that gives them a guaranteed top 6, and they are fine. If they do not take first in their group, they end up dropping down into second, third. That means they have to win at least a match, lower round 1, which puts them in lower round 2, which is a top 8. And 1 or more of the following things need to happen, which, again, some of these things are more likely than others. Trying to give these a little bit of time so you guys can go back on the time break or the timestamps. They'll all be timestamped down below for who's who. Up next, Oxygen, the big surprise with the addition of Gimmick. This is where things get a bit more complicated, because these teams in particular, you're looking at teams that have yet to win and get that like big boost of those additional 50-point heads. So the biggest thing for Oxygen, if they win the whole thing, they're good. If Oxygen comes out and just wins, they're good. If they do not and they take second, so say they get to the grand final and they take second place, they need at least one or more things to happen, which is listed below. The biggest thing that people need to pay attention to with this entire list is between V1 and Oxygen. And I'm going to explain this with the graphic as well. Because V1 and Oxygen are actually very, very close in the overall rankings. Oxygen and V1 are within 50 points of each other. Because of that, in order for V1 to get in and for Oxygen to get in, the biggest concern for them is making sure that on that playoff scenarios, if Oxygen places here, V1 has to place 2 parts of the bracket further, 2 rounds further. So if they place 12th, V1 needs to place at least top 6. If Oxygen places top 8, then V1 needs to finish top 4. And that's going to keep happening. They have to perform usually 2 steps ahead. And the only time that changes is when they get into like top 3 scenarios. So it is very, very difficult because of what happened in Regional 2. Because of Regional 2, Oxygen knocking out V1 and then also making top 6, it made everything way more complicated. So if Oxygen just straight up wins, they're golden. They're in a very, very good spot. If that does not happen, second place then bumps down and there's more things that need to happen. If they finish third place, 2 or more need to happen. And it's basically the teams below them. The most simplistic way to look at it is if you pull the overall rankings for winter, the easiest way to understand it is like if Oxygen does well and these teams lower than them, V1 Rogue, Shopify, whatever, place worse than them, they're fine. If V1 wants to win, they need Oxygen to perform worse, and then they also need the ones below them to perform worse than them. And it's just that same thing. It's very simplistic in that regard. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. So those are the scenarios for Oxygen. V1, again, very, very similar. The difference, though, for V1 is they need Oxygen more than anybody to not finish top 4. If Oxygen finishes top 4, the only way they're doing it is if they get W's. It's very, very critical that Oxygen does not perform well for version 1. That's the biggest thing they're paying attention to. And then obviously all the teams below them. So if Oxygen finished top 12 and V1 finished top 8, there will be a tiebreaker. Correct. That is also something that is important. Because of that 50-point differential, there will be a tiebreaker between the two. And I think they just play a straight up best of 7 to see who goes to the major. It's brutal. A lot of pressure on that, which would also be very exciting for fans. So we'll see how that plays out. But these are your scenarios for version 1, Beast Mode, Calm, and Torment. Like V1 basically screwed themselves last event. By going out in 12th, they absolutely 12th to 16th, or yeah, 12th to 13th to 16th. They had a frustrating thing. There's actually an oddly decent chance of a 3-way tie for 5th. Yeah. You're looking at V1 Rogue and possibly Shopify are all kind of fighting, but it's more likely Oxygen, V1 Rogue. Oxygen, V1 Rogue all have pretty good chance. Shopify may be able to play upset, but they've got to do like 1 step ahead of Rogue in order to do that because they're 30 behind. But yeah, it's there's 30-point gaps between all those teams. Shopify's at 330, Rogue's at 360, V1's at 390, and then Oxygen's got a pretty big jump ahead. So it's pretty rough. 9th to 12th for V1. Thank you. Yeah, because there's only 16 teams. 9th to 12th. I went the other way. So yeah, that's what V1 needs. Again, shout outs to Drekt, who is also in chat, talking about these. This is his mastermind putting this stuff together. Up next, we got Rogue. Rogue can also clinch the major if they win, and they need some help. So they have to win the entire thing, and G2 needs to finish 13th to 16th. Faze Clan needs to finish 9th to 12th or worse. Space Station has to finish 9th to 12th or worse, and Oxygen has to finish 3rd or worse. Because if they win, then they get the 100-point difference made up. Drekt also providing more insight. Oxygen 9th to 12th, V1 7th to 8th, and Rogue 5 to 6th, and Rebellion 4th. and no team below them finishes third or better, results in a 4-way tie for fifth. That would be depressing if that happened. And I don't even want to think about what the tiebreaker scenario is for that. Would be wild, though. Do they just play a round robin, whoever makes it out? I have no idea. Either way, Rogue needs a lot of help. Very unlikely, but it is possible. If they finish second, they need 3 or more of these to happen. If they finish third and all these things happen, then they are in. So notice how significantly difficult it gets the worse Rogue performs. So like before it was like, okay, you need to win and some of these things need to happen. Now it's, hey, if you finish third, all of these things have to happen. You don't get a choice. That and statement is very important. And it's just more and more difficult, and you need better and better teams to like perform worse and worse. It's brutal. Rogue's chances are pretty slim. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Also, Drekt, the best part about this sheet is he's already shown in green some of the things that have qualified for them. I have a curiosity, Drekt. Will these update throughout the event? As these things change, will you be updating this spreadsheet so that the things highlighting green when they have been confirmed? He says yes. If you guys plan to do this, I will try to do my best job for you guys. If you guys come over and hang out with us, twitch.tv/Lawler, I will try to keep this up for you all as Drekt updates it. So when you guys are watching on my channel, you guys will also see things check green when they happen, or probably go red when they do not happen. So some pretty cool stuff. This link is not public. This is Drekt's. I don't know if he'll be making this public. That is entirely up to him. But as of right now, this is not a public thing. This is, again, Drekt has been nice enough to share it with me. So again, his links to his socials and stuff are down below. Guy's an absolute legend. Super happy. Drekt is one of the OG members of my community. He was like one of my first subs, like one of my first 50 subs on Twitch. And he is now a statistician for Rocket League Esports, which is super cool. Super cool. Plus, these are like confirmed scenarios. They're a-okay. So Shopify Rebellion we've got. For Shopify Rebellion to make it, they have to win. And 3 or more of the following things need to happen. G2 needs to finish 13th to 16th, aka getting eliminated from after groups. Faze has to get eliminated from groups. Space Station has to get eliminated from groups. Oxygen has to finish 4th or worse. And V1 has to finish 3rd or worse. That is pretty rough. And the reason why these are the way that they are is because Oxygen obviously has points ahead. V1 is right behind them. They are close enough to Rogue to where even if they win, it does not matter. The 51 points they get compared to second place, even if Rogue is in that scenario with them, that 51 points, they will make up the difference and be fine. As long as these other things do happen. So that is why Rogue is not mentioned. If they place second, say they go to those grand finals and they place second, things change a little bit. They need to finish second, and all the following things have to happen. Oxygen has to finish 7th, 8th or worse. V1 has to finish 4th or worse. Rogue has to finish 3rd or worse. Complexity cannot win. Envy cannot win. And XSET cannot win. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. Obviously, there is more scenarios. If you'd like to go back to the timestamp. Up next, Complexity. A lot of people were wondering about what the heck's going on with Complexity. How can they get in? It is an uphill battle, to say the least. In order for Complexity to make the major, they have to win, and Oxygen has to finish 5th, 6th, or worse. So if Oxygen takes first in group, that's the best they can do. If they do anything better than that, there's no way for Complexity to make it. V1 finishes 4th or worse, and Rogue finished 3rd or worse. You've got a bunch of teams in front of Complexity. If any of them perform, there's no way they can make up the points. So pretty tough for them. Pretty tough for them. If they end up finishing second, they go to the grand finals and lose. Oxygen cannot finish better than last in their group. Or if they finish last in their group, they're fine, and then they still have a chance. But if they make it out of groups and they end up losing in the first round, they also need V1 to not finish top 8. They need Rogue to not finish top 6, which is equivalent to being first in your group and getting eliminated in 2 matches back-to-back. Shopify Rebellion cannot finish 4th or worse. Team Envy does not win. XSET does not win. And Soniqs do not win. It is tough. It is very tough for Complexity. They also have scenarios for 3rd. And they get eliminated if they're worse than top 4. If they're top 4, it still doesn't matter. So for Complexity, at minimum, need a top 3 performance. They need a podium finish at minimum and a bunch of help. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But at the same time, when you think about it, if Complexity does finish top 3, right? If Complexity does finish top 3, it is very likely that a lot of these teams also aren't there, because that's kind of their competition in the lower bracket. So assuming things go as planned, if Complexity's finishing top 3, it is likely that a lot of these things are not. So it is possible. It is possible. But top 3 is what they're shooting for. And then from there, it only gets better. Over to Envy. Envy also not in a good scenario. If they win, they also need Oxygen to, at best, finish top 6. V1, top 4, and Rogue, top 3. A lot of points they need to make up. You're talking like 150 plus. It's a lot. It's a very, very tough thing to do. Best case scenario for Complexity is the same as Envy. So for Envy, if they finish 3rd, right? If Envy finishes 3rd, they need Oxygen to finish 13th to 16th, aka not make it out of groups. They need V1 to make it out of groups and then lose immediately. They need Rogue to finish top 8, which is lower round 2, which is the second part of the lower bracket. Shopify, top 6, which is as if they were to be first in group, lose, drop down to the lower, and then lose again. Complexity, finish 4th or worse. XSET, finish 4th or worse. And Soniqs do not win. It is brutal. Very, very similar regards to Complexity. We then jump down to the next team below them, XSET, who is somehow still alive. If XSET wins the whole thing, they need Oxygen to finish at best top 6. They need V1 to finish 4th or best, and Rogue the 3rd. Anything above that, they're in big trouble. Again, these and statements are really important. So, yo, wow, this is the craziest regional ever. Energy loses to XSET in the grand finals. XSET did it. Wow, it's insane. Everybody's losing their minds collectively. We're having our own Mickey Moon region. I don't know whose name they would use instead of Mickey Moon. Either way, it happens. Everybody's losing their minds. But then Rogue still finishes top 3, top 2. Like, say it's Rogue XSET in the grand finals, they still don't. They still don't make it. It'd be so depressing. But yeah, XSET's got a pretty tough scenario. If they finish top 3 again, they need a bunch of help. All the teams above them need to perform worse, results-wise. And there's specifics. Keep in mind that as Drekt updates these live, there will be green check marks based upon certain things when they do or don't happen, red if it does. And you'll see that elimination. I'm sure Drekt will also forward that to the broadcast team on the desk to be like, hey, this thing happened. There's a red check in one of these. XSET is officially out of contention no matter how well they do, etc. So he will update those on broadcast. I will try to also update those to you guys as well. Up next, we got the Soniqs. The Soniqs are, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not easy. It's not easy. Couple things in their favor. Ghost can't win. They didn't make it. So, like, green is good. This should be green. We're happy there. We're happy there. This is green, actually. Ghost Gaming can't win because they're eliminated already. So, baby steps, Soniqs. You're doing it. You're doing it. Still in the running so far. Jokes aside, everybody, like, they can't finish worse than 2nd. Like, they have to take 2nd place. Oh, Drekt's making moves. Hey, see, we talking about it, chat. It's happening live in front of you. This is a YouTube video, and Drekt is literally updating it as we speak. The man's a legend. He's also in chat and heard me say stuff and was like, shoot, I should probably do that. Sorry, I saw nothing. Editing magic. It just was like this. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, for Soniqs, they basically have to finish top 2, and they need a bunch of help. It is very unlikely that all of these things happen. But if they're winning, again, and that's I will say the catalyst. If they end up winning, that means a lot of weird things are happening. So you never know. You never know. And last but certainly not least, we got Charlotte Phoenix, which they have to win. If they finish 2nd, they're done. They have to win. Imagine not only getting to the grand finals, but also knowing the pressure of winning and going to the major depends on it. And all these scenarios. As a Charlotte Phoenix fan, I look forward to them being at the major. Love it. Love it. Yeah, it's a pretty big uphill. For example, for Charlotte Phoenix, not only do they have to win, they need Oxygen to get eliminated immediately. I love how you even put a DNQ in there for do not qualify, which they're fine. So Oxygen has to get eliminated immediately. They cannot make it out of groups. That's going to be the big focus. If you guys are trying to figure an easy way to follow these, come by the stream. I'll try to explain it to you all. We'll try to be breaking these down live as they happen. I will tell you guys on the V1 broadcast, I will also be paying very heavy attention to these while I'm casting, because I know Super's not going to do it. Again, shout outs to Drekt and the things that he does. But yeah, you're basically going to sit here and be like, okay, this is all that matters. You sit there and be like, did Charlotte Phoenix win? They did. Awesome. What happens next? Okay, did Oxygen make it out of groups? Yes or no? They did make it out of groups. Let's go. Sick. Okay, what's next? V1. V1, did they make top 12? Did they make it out of lower round 1? They did. Dang it. Okay, Charlotte Phoenix is out. And that's basically the way that you need to go about these scenarios. So these are very easy to understand. You basically go to each section. This is if they win, second place, third place. We go to another team because someone's asking about Space Station. All right, Space Station. They go to the major if they finish with a first placing group. If they do first in their group, they're in. That's it. That's all you need to know as a Space Station fan. They just have to take first in their group. They do that, they're good. They're into the major. So with that said, the last thing I told you guys I would talk about is the easy scenarios. So this is the main page for this and kind of simplifies everything for you. So you've got all the point totals, all the rankings. Ghost, Torrent, Accrue, the former Vibrance team, NXT, Sup, All Mid, Gentlemen, and Randoms cannot make it. Not going to happen, no matter what. So All Mid and the Randoms are playing massive spoiler this weekend. All Mid and Randoms can be the Team Liquid of this major. They have every right to put up a good performance because their previous results are going to matter for seeding in the future. But if they upset teams, they are destroying people's chances. So All Mid, Randoms, cause some chaos. Chaotic Neutral in me is like, do it. Do it. I don't want to be the ones to tell you to do it, but like, if you're gonna be there anyway, you might as well have some fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Charlotte Phoenix, they get eliminated if they place second or worse. Soniqs, eliminated if they get third or worse. Complexity, Envy, XSET, eliminated if they get fourth or worse. Shopify Rebellion, 7th to 8th or worse. Rogue, 9th through 12th or worse. Again, as a reminder, this is your lower round 2. This is lower round 1. If Oxygen and V1 clutch it, if they win the whole thing, they're in. Faze and Space Station, if they get 5 or 6 or better, they're in. That means top 6, which is the group stage. If they get out of group stage as the number 1 seed, then they are in. As for G2, if they get number 1 in their group, or if they don't and they win the first match of the lower round. So as an example, again, because I'm a visual learner, say G2 takes second in their group. They drop down here. They win this match. They go here. They're in. They're fine. And then for NRG, NRG is in. They've already qualified. They are good. They will go to the major. They did that last time because they took a first place and a second place. They're fine. No matter how bad they perform, they get a guaranteed 60 points. That's what puts them at 7-11. In order for them to better themselves, though, if they finish third or better, if they have a top 3 performance, they will be the number 1 seed for North America guaranteed, which also gives them advantage against the teams that they will play, whether it be South America, APAC, whoever it may be, when it comes to the major. So that is your scenarios for the playoffs. Again, massive shout outs to the one and only Drekt for putting that graphic together. As a reminder, while I'm casting this weekend and watching the matches this weekend for a watch party, if you guys come over to this channel, I will do my best to keep this up, keep you guys updated. I will let you know your certain teams that are close, eliminated, or not. And we will try to have a command and chat saying which teams are still alive. And then if you want to know specifics, I'll try to update them. If you guys have questions on YouTube, if you guys are watching this on YouTube and you would like to know, you can always reference this. Timestamps will be down below for each specific team. Go back to the timestamp, leave it up, and put it on a second monitor or on your phone or whatever you got to do, and then you can just check in with it. So this resource is made available for all of you for that reason, but I cannot say it enough. Massive thank you to Drekt for putting this stuff together. Official statistician, big brain boy for the Rocket League esports team. Without him, this stuff is just super complicated, and I'm glad I didn't have to do it. So again, links to his socials, everything down below. He always tweets out really cool stats. The fact that like Flitz and 2Piece are brand new rookies coming in. A lot of really cool stuff. So make sure you guys go follow him anyway. He does a fantastic job for this community, as well as the Rocket League esports team. All those cool stats you hear people talking about on stream, it's 9 out of 9 times Drekt. There's not even a 10th time. It's just Drekt every time. So either way, Drekt, thank you for all the love and support. Shout out to everybody in chat taking the time to tune in for this video. If you guys do have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, down below, let me know. We'll try to answer those in Q&A videos and stuff, or come by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, where we stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. It is greatly appreciated for you all to come and hang out and watch. If you guys enjoy the content, you've made it this far, give it a like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.